Chapter 13 Fun, Games, and Pets, Part 2. Well, Vula sure liked being close to the stove on cold evenings because it felt so warm and cosy to stand nearby. There was no other heating in the house except for the open fire in the lounge room, which was not always lit. One time, Vula was jumping up and down next to the stove when she suddenly tripped. To stop herself from falling, she put the palm of her hand on one of the hot iron plates and pushed herself away from the stove. She saved her face and chest from being burned, but her poor palm, just under her thumb, got burnt and felt very hot and sore. Her mother put it under cold water and then put butter on it. In those days, everyone thought that was the thing to do. However, when Vula woke up the next morning, she saw something that was horrible. A big bubble blister of skin had grown overnight. Not just a small bubble, but a huge bubble. It was the size of a small egg. Also, it hurt. Woola knew that her classmates would make fun of her if they saw her big blister. Kids don't want to be different from other kids. She was already different because her parents were migrants. But now it would be much, much worse. What would the kids at school think of her now? They would tease her, for sure, and call her unkind names. Kids can be cruel sometimes when someone is different from them. Anyway, Vula tried to hide her blister with a band-aid, but it didn't cover much. The blister was easy to see. Vula kept her hand behind her back, or hid it in her sleeve or in a pocket. She got good at hiding it. Then one day she fell over on the wet bathroom floor and the blister broke. It stopped hurting and felt so good after it broke. Vula wondered why she had not thought of breaking it herself. Her hand was normal again. What a relief! Another time, Adgiro let Vula watch a TV show called Combat. It showed muddy soldiers shooting the enemy in World War II. There was no blood, just dirty soldiers. The soldiers used petrol and poured it along the road to an enemy truck. Then they hid far away and threw a match on the petrol. Vula was amazed to see a line of fire run quickly to the truck and then kaboom! She thought about it for days. Then she decided to use some petrol that was used for the lawnmower. She undid the small cap of the petrol can and poured some of the petrol into the cap. Where could she put it for safety? The two laundry sinks were made of concrete. She felt sure the concrete was strong enough to keep the fire that she planned to light with a match. Vula carefully put the cap of petrol in the bottom of a sink. Then she had trouble lighting a match, but finally she did it. She only had a second to hold the match in the air, about 30 centimeters from the cap, before she dropped the match in fear. The petrol had caught fire before she got the match near the cap of petrol. The petrol fumes had caught fire. The fire went up through the air, burning her front hair, eyelashes and eyebrows. That's why the petrol can said highly flammable. Vula ran into the house to find her mother. Vula quickly explained what had happened, and Argiro checked that there were no burns on her daughter. Then she smacked Vula on her bottom for being naughty and playing with petrol and fire. Argiro told Vula to learn her lesson and not to do anything like that ever again. However, not long after, Argiro herself decided to do something she was later sorry about. In the 1960s, people didn't think much about being kind to animals. Argiro had grown up on a village farm, and they used to kill animals for food. She was very practical about animals. Anyhow, Argiro got sick and tired of Mother Cat always having so many kittens. She decided to take away this cat. Argiro put Mother Cat in a box with her kittens, and because they didn't have a car, she asked Mr. Haddis to drive her to the countryside outside Hamilton. There they put the box beside some trees and drove home. This was not unusual in those days, and other people did this too. Vula didn't know what her mother had done. She called for Mother Cat every day to feed her. Here, puss, puss, puss. But the cat did not come. Then one day Vula saw an old-looking cat in the backyard. It was very thin, and Vula could see its bones under its fur. Vula got some milk in a saucer for the cat, but it did not trust her, and it waited until Vula walked away. Then she watched through a window as the cat went to the saucer to lick the milk. Vula went to tell her mother, but the cat had gone when Argiro went to see it. A few days later, the cat returned, and this time Argiro saw it. With a shock, she knew it was Mother Cat, who had found her way back home. Argiro felt very bad when she saw the poor cat. They say it is good for your soul to tell what you have done that is wrong. So Argiro told her kids what she had done. She promised never to do the wrong thing to their pets ever again. Never again did Mother Cat come near people. And never again was Argiro unkind to an animal. Well, except for the hens, who stopped laying new eggs because they wanted to sit on their old eggs. The hens wanted to keep them warm and try to grow little chicks. To start these chooks laying eggs again, Argiro did something that she had learnt from her village life in Greece. It wasn't pleasant, but it always worked.